The All Progressives Congress has been very busy these past few weeks with rallies across the country to sell the Tinubu-Shettima ticket as we head towards 2023 election. Over the weekend, the Lagos State chapter of the party held a presidential campaign rally for the party's presidential candidate, Asiwaju Bola Tinubu, at the Teslim Balogun Stadium, Lagos. At the rally, the former Lagos State governor assured his supporters that he cannot be killed. He also seized the opportunities to knock his People's Democratic Party counterpart, urging would-be voters to once again reject the selfish Atiku Abubakar, who has been running for the presidency since 1999. His quote. The Director General of the Local Organizing Committee for the Presidential Campaign Rally in Lagos State Campaign Council, Senator Ganiyu Solomon, said the rally was a homecoming for the former Lagos State Governor and the presidential candidate of the APC. While the Lagos State Governor, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, described Bola Tinubu as the architect of the modern Lagos. Also, during the APC presidential rally in Ebonyi State last week, Bola Tinubu vowed to transform the Southeast and dialogue with agitators if elected president of the country at the 2023 general election. Joining us on the show this morning as we discuss the APC's campaign activities in both Lagos and Ebonyi states last week is Senator Adeseye Ogunlewe, APC Chieftain and Nigeria's former Minister of Works, as well as George Agbakahi, Southeast leader, Tinubu Support Organization, and member, APC Presidential Campaign Council, Media and Publicity Directorate. Welcome to the morning show.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Senator.
For having me.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Rufai. Thank you, Abati.
Thank you. Morning.
Thank you.
Well, let's start with something we discussed earlier this morning, which is a statement by the presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party in response to statements that have been made by Asiwaju Bola Tinubu in Lagos over the weekend, that Atiku is selfish, is ungrateful, is overambitious. So Atiku replied and said that Asiwaju Bola Tinubu is only fit for the position of Grand Comedian of the Federal Republic. And that the Lagos State Governor, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, is behaving like the victim of a brain transplant. And that what Asiwaju Bola Tinubu needs to do is to step down and the party should replace him because his gas and the embarrassment he brings to the party are just too many. And that he has too many issues about identity, about background that he needs to deal with. We tabled that this morning. Now, two of you are here. If you would like to respond to that in defense of your principal or in acceptance of what the PDP presidential candidate said. Let me start with you, Senator Ogunlewe. And then Chief Agbakai, you can also comment.
Well, thank you for having me. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, listeners. Well, first of all, I want to congratulate the governor of Lagos State, the deputy governor, and members of the ESCO, as well as the National Executive Committee member, the chairman, the secretary, then all the governors, all our, our members of House of Rep, our senators, members of the PCC in Lagos State, the Director General, for a wonderful job done. And the social, we don't mind comments anymore. We are moving forward. We are galvanizing support. We are planning 5 million votes in Lagos State alone. So there is no distraction. Political statement doesn't come to voting. We are focused on voting. We are focused on delivering number. We have the volume to give us the figure. We don't talk about social media. We don't talk about abuses. We talk about whatever anybody is saying doesn't concern us. All we want is victory. And by the grace of God, victory is sure. No distraction at all. We are all politicians. Political comments are made just to grandstand. It doesn't turn to votes. When it comes to voting, you can see the volume. And believe it or not, that is only 10% of our strength in Lagos State, because all the numbers were allocated to all the local governments that are near the venue, excluding those that are far. Another one is coming, which is a master one, the grand finale. We'll close down the entire state. That's about 10% of our strength. So we are not bothered. We are coming in full force with our strength. We're going to start our campaign, and victory is sure. We are targeting 5 million votes, and that's what is important to us. Not comments and statements by friends. People of Nigeria, don't listen to the two of them. They are friends. Focus on what they can offer, what they've been able to offer before, and what is in it for us when they get to power. And I can assure you, Bola Tinubu is the Messiah, is the answer.
Chief Agbakai, Chief George Agbakai, do you agree that Bola Tinubu is the Messiah?
Yeah.
And do you agree with Waziri Atiku Abubakar that is a comedian, as he described?
Well, I think what Atiku Abubakar is saying is a big joke, which is known all over the country. It is quite clear that of all the 4 candidates that are running for the presidency of this country, Asiwaju Bola Tinubu is the most competent. He has the capacity, he has the sagacity, he has the tenacity, he has the track record of accomplishment to lead this country forward. You know, Asiwaju Tinubu is gaining ground in the southeast, he's gaining ground in the south-south, and that's why you see Atiku Abubakar and the other opposition party, they are all scared of what is going on, because they know that Asiwaju is already entrenched in the northwest, he's entrenched in the northeast, where Atiku Abubakar comes from, and he is enormously entrenched in the southwest. What happened in Lagos State as well as in Ebonyi State is a testament to what is going to happen in the general election. Asiwaju Bola Tinubu is going to win this election.
All right.
His legacy in Lagos State as governor has said it all. He said it all. He has done a whole lot to improve the well-being of Nigerians, especially in Lagos State. Even we that are from Southeast, he provided an enabling environment for Southeasterners in Lagos State, for their businesses, for their investment to thrive. All these things are what he will bring up to the federal government.
All right.
You know, the kind of people he assembles in office is something to write home about. This is things he will bring up in the federal government, and Nigeria will become great again.
All right, thank you very much, Chief Agbakai. Yes, indeed, as you've mentioned, that's what we're pushing for in Nigeria, that will be great again. Now, we have heard a number of times from spokespeople on behalf of the presidential candidates of the APC, like yourself, Mr. Chief Agbakai, and of course, Senator Ogunlewe, who is a chieftain of the APC. However, electorates are wondering, would the presidential candidate subject himself to a presidential debate with his other colleagues? We've seen him speak at rallies, we've seen his statements, we've seen press releases. However, the people would like to engage directly with Asiwaju Bola Tinubu. Would there be an opportunity for this in the near future? The other part of this is also your testament of how fit Asiwaju is to take on the role as President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. My question to you, sir, is that he's come under a lot of criticism as to the statement, or under a lot of microscopic just evaluation as to how fit he is physically to take on this role. Do you think your candidates would be willing to subject himself to presenting a certificate of fitness to assure his potential voters that he's indeed mentally, technically, and very importantly, physically fit to take on this role?
No. You see, every TV institution, they have their own program. They would like people to come for debates, which is okay. But the political party also, they have their own program. they have their own strategy. Their strategy is to do town hall meetings, talk directly to the voters, go to them. So what I will appeal to all television institutions is to follow the candidate to where their program is being, mentioned. Go there and ask your question. They may not have time to come to the studio. They may not have time for debates. That doesn't mean they don't have the stuff to debate. But at the town hall meeting, you can ask questions too. In terms of fitness, I have been part of the Federal Executive Council. You don't need a boxer to be the president of Nigeria. He needs his brain. He needs his contact. He needs his anticipation of issues. How do I solve this issue? What do I do? Where is our program? Who is going to execute? You will have ministers, capable hands that will drive the program of the party. His own is just to supervise and sign. That's all. So I don't see anything physical in that kind of the position of president. No. It is your brain that you are going to use to the advantage of the country. And Nigerians don't worry. All those things they are saying, they are just, they are just talking for talking's sake, because they know the man has already won that election. How can anybody stop him? He's campaigning, he's moving around, he's doing town hall meetings, and he's contributing. And he has the brilliance. You can't take it away from him. He has the answer to all the problems of this country. And Nigeria will be surprised what he can do.
Okay, so real quickly, this question comes to both of you. You say Nigerians are talking. Nigerians are not just talking for the sake of talking. They are ventilating their concerns about, number one, things like the constant gaffe, made by your candidates. I mean, a lot of people talk about, he was talking in one breath of the town hall and made gaffe like Ulaba, They are ventilating concerns about that. The constancy on the gaffe. In fact, Mr. Kperogi wrote an article at a point. He's not a medical doctor, I should put out as a caveat, but he talked about a neurological decline. Those are the concerns they are raising. And if you remember, I put a caveat there that Kperogi is not a medical doctor, so, there's no bona fide on that. Nigerians has also raising concerns on the fact that he's not been able to tell us what he is going to do for Nigerians. That even when you look through his manifestos, there are no hows. It's just, I'll do this, I'll do that. And some things he wrote there are not practical. And thirdly, how will you, and I'll come to you first on this, as Senator, how would you get 5 million votes in Lagos? It has never happened anywhere in history. I could give you electoral analysis. The best numbers you had was about 1.5 million threshold, and that was the record set by Raji Fashola in the 2011 elections, gubernatorial elections. Since then, even in the Buhari elections in 2015, it was about 900 and a little over 700,000 to PDP's 600,000. So it was just a 150,000 difference mark. It's always been neck and neck. So how come are you going to get that high amount of, electoral vote, 5 million out of maybe 6 or 7 million registered voters in Lagos? I'm not sure on the number of registered voters. How are you going to do that? So those are the concerns people are raising. Senator Adeseye Ogunlewe, you go first, and afterwards, Mr. Bakayi, we come back to you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. We have 7.5 registered voters in Lagos State. So you have to plan your target. How do you now get 5 million? If you go to the registration per local government, how many votes must a local government bring to cumulate to 5 million? How many? We have 13,500 polling units. How many votes must you get from per polling unit to arrive at 5 million? It's strategic, and we'll get there. We are not just guessing. We are statistically planning If you see the array of intelligent, veteran politicians that are participating in this, is what I'm saying, member of GSC, past deputy governors, past senators, past House of Rep members, present House of Rep members, all of us sitting down to strategize. We have to have a figure to work on. And believe it or not, we are planning. We are very resolute. We must get there. And the governor is excellent in this sort of thing. And the deputy governor, they are veterans. They know all these things. We know the difficulties. We know the problem we'll have. We know how to surmount them. We cannot just sit down and say, no, we are not going to have a figure. I'm saying that is our target.
Okay.
And we are going to work 13,500 polling units.
Okay.
It's not a joke.
Okay.
We'll get there, I can assure you.
Okay, real quickly.
All these other issues, let the electorate decide.
No, but
we are targeting the electorate. Those are the voters. We are not talking about side comments. We are not talking about people talking. They can talk. But let the voters talk. The voters will determine the fate of this country. So people, there could be competition. There will be arguments. There will be insults. There will be abuses. But I can tell you, you can't kill the egg that lays the golden egg. This is a star born.
okay.
Not an ordinary star, but a star of the nation.
Okay.
Bola Tinubu.
Mr. Agbakaye, a lot of people are raising concerns about this continuous gaffe, which some people, I must have to repeat again, not necessarily medical doctors having a call on this. I've written articles about that it might be neurological, and the gaffes are one too many. There's a lot of talk about loss of train of thought, and the fact that there is no how he's going to do the things he says he'll do in his manifesto. So a lot of people say it's just promises, it's flat on promises. It's just promises and flat on execution. Mr. Agbakaye?
Well, in respect of the gaffe, yes, in respect of the gaffe you just talked about, listen, everybody make gaffes. President Biden in the United States makes gaffes occasionally. Me personally, who is a relatively younger man, makes gaffes occasionally. So there is nothing, extraordinary or different if our candidate occasionally, once in a while, makes gaffes. So for you to start saying that a medical doctor is saying that he has neurological issues, I think that's
Mr. Agbakaye, I never said that.
Mr.
Mr. Agbakaye, you just made a gaffe on national TV. I never said that. You just made a gaffe on national TV. I never said that. I just put a caveat there that the person that wrote the article is not a medical doctor, and I deliberately said that for emphasis sake. Then you quoted me wrongly on TV.
I know, but you know that this is an election season. People can say what they want to say in order to discredit the other candidates. But I want to tell you specifically that our candidate, Asiwaju Bola Tinubu, is fit, mentally fit. He's pretty healthy to govern this country. He has been going around. He's been in Mina. He has been in Nasarawa. He has been in Ebonyi. He has been in Imo. He has been in Lagos State campaigning. He has attended several town hall meetings. So if he's able, if he made a mistake in one of the campaign stuff and maybe make a slight gaffe, that doesn't make him unfit from being the president of this country. Just like my colleague told you, Tinubu is a thinker. He's a visionary. He's not going for a boxing match. What he's going to do is to govern. He is known for assembling the best lieutenants among all the candidates running for the presidency of this country. He did it very well in Lagos and succeeded. Even in Lagos, he believes in political pluralism. That's why you see his administration in Lagos. He had Igbos in the administration. He had people from Kogi, which is part of northern Nigeria, like Lai Mohammed in the administration. He has Yorubas. So this is what he will bring on the table when he becomes the president of this country. See, let me tell you, what you are seeing in this election is between a candidate that is always engaging in ethnic chauvinism, as well as the other candidate, that is pretty much engaged in political demagoguery. Atiku made a mess of himself in Kaduna State, where he was abusing other ethnic groups, that the presidency of this country can never go to Igbo person or a Yoruba person, without even mentioning the names of the candidate. That is ethnic chauvinism. At the same time, Peter Obi, himself, has played demagoguery politics. He has tried on several occasions to appeal to the sentiments, and desires of a particular group, pitching some groups against the other, which is class politics. That is not what we want. What we want is a leader who can govern this country. Bola Tinubu has demonstrated it, that he has that capacity. He has that pedigree. He has demonstrated it in Lagos State. And like I've always said, this is, of all these candidates, Bola Tinubu is someone that has participated actively in the civil society. When he, with the help of people like Wole Soyinka, he fought the military, during the despotic regime of Abacha. He has also been in the private sector. He has been in Mobil Oil, where he rose through the ranks to become the treasurer of Mobil Oil. And like I said, his tenure as governor of Lagos State speaks for itself. He was the best governor ever in the history of Nigeria. That can only be matched more recently with the governor of Ebonyi State, where we were on Thursday last week. Go to Ebonyi State and see what the governor did. So all these things will also attract votes for us in the southeast. Go to Imo State and see what Governor Hope Uzodinma is doing. So this election, people will be shocked what will happen. This election is not going to be won in the social media. It's going to be won physically. Like I said, Bola Tinubu is gaining ground. Everywhere is gaining ground, northwest, northeast, southeast. Okay, look at what is happening in PDP. Atiku Abubakar cannot even manage his party. Let me ask you a question. Even in a village meeting, if your house is burning, your children are not getting along, your family is not getting along, they won't even elect you as the village head. Look at what is happening in PDP. Atiku cannot even bring his children together. Now we have probably 10 PDP governors and 5 Wike governors in the country. Is it not a shame that Wike was in Abia State a few days ago campaigning for the governor who is running for Senate, whereas we have a PDP chairman who was not there. So that is what you see happening. And this has happened in other countries where civil strife, internal strife, has led to failure in election. In the United States, in the 1980 election, between Ronald Reagan and Jimmy Carter, you know fully well, because of the infighting that came up as a result of the primary election between Ted Kennedy and Jimmy Carter, it polarized the Democratic Party, which finally led to the defeat of Jimmy Carter by Ronald Reagan. In 2004, it also happened in California during the governorship election of Gray Davis and was Schwarzenegger.
Chief Agbaka, we need to manage time.
Yes.
I have just 2 questions, one each for you. The first one, for you, Chief Agbaka, while you are trying to catch your breath, I will take the second one to Senator Ogunlewe. But let me make this point. You keep referring to when Asiwaju Bola Tinubu was governor in Lagos State. You forget that he was a much younger man then. And he was very healthy then. Nobody raised questions about his health. So you keep saying he did it in Lagos, he would do it in Nigeria. The circumstances are slightly different. But I wanted to ask you, one of the promises he made when he visited Ebonyi State was that he would turn the whole of the Southeast into the Taiwan of Africa. Do you have any idea how he intends to do that, considering the state of infrastructure in the Southeast and the security issues there? I'll come to you later. Let me come to you, Senator Ogunlewe. Senator Bola Tinubu also said that he's going to put an end to all agitations in the country. Do you have any idea how he's going to do that? Something that no president has been able to do since return to democratic rule in 1999. But all I keep hearing is that he's a messiah. He will do it. He has the capacity. How? If Obasanjo could not eliminate agitations, Yaradua could not do it, Jonathan could not do it, Buhari could not do it, whom everybody even expected as a former general would solve the problem. Is it Tinubu that will put an end to agitations in Nigeria? How will he do it?
Very simple. He has been the advocate of restructuring, devolution of powers. Give more powers to the states. Give more power to the local government. That is, those are the sources of his exclusion that brings agitation. And he will not exclude anybody. The first thing any president must do is to dismantle this constitution. This constitution is still feudalist in structure, and it doesn't allow growth from the grassroots to the top. Too many things are modeled up at the federal level. We should go to the state so that there will be less agitation, where you have less to do at the national level, and you now devolve more powers and authority. You want to register ordinary business, you have to go to the federal government. You have to electricity, you have to go to the federal government. Judiciary, Court of Appeal, Supreme Court, one Supreme Court for the entire nation. Security. You know, we must think about how to restructure the country, and he's a master in this game. He knows the agitation of any, struggle. It is exclusion. Once you exclude them, they want to agitate to be inclusive. So why can't we say, okay, let us know out of the 68, items on the exclusive list, which ones must go to the local government, which ones must go to the state, so that there can be less agitation. Once you devote powers and you allow as much as possible states to manage their resources, you are saying every minerals at the top or on the bottom of the land belong to the federal government. At the same time, the Land Use Act says that the land belongs to the state and to the governor. That is contradiction. So what is the fear? We have oil in the north now. We have minerals in the north. Why must you compel everybody to be part of the federal in terms of funding? Continental shelf, where there is oil, it belongs to the federal government. But any oil within the territory of a state should belong to that state. So these are defined roles that we can all argue and discuss and address and find solution to them. There will be less agitation. You are coming to the land of my community. Okay. Take all the resources, take them away, no reparation, the ecology of the community has been damaged. Okay, Senator. They cannot fish, they cannot farm, and they say they are agitated. They must agitate. Okay, Senator. Anything on the continental shape of the country belong to the federation. Okay, Senator. But all those things within the state should go to the state. Okay, Senator. Except that the APC has been talking about restructuring since 2015. We've not seen any effort in that direction. Chief Agbakai, who will soon come from Taiwan, Nigeria, could you address the question I asked you earlier on?
Okay. Well, it is obvious our distinguished presidential candidate, Bola Tinubu, was in Ebonyi State on the 24th. And he was well received, and at the same time given a chieftaincy title, Dike Diorama of Ebonyi State, which is the warrior. Listen, Tinubu has said that he will work on all the issues and policies limiting development in Southeast. And he also said that he will help in promoting commerce. Trading and commerce are truly the nomenclature of the Southeasterners, of which you know very well that the presidential candidate of Labour Party is a trader. So Tinubu has said that he will make it easier for us to continue our business by providing, railroad services in the Southeast. He has also talked about, providing or establishing the Calabar port so that it will be easier for us to do our importation, instead of going through Lagos to clear it and coming by the road back to Southeast. And secondly, he talked about helping the youths with soft loans, with soft loans with lower interest rate, so as to assist them, in their business ventures. So he has said a lot that he will do. That's what he necessarily mean by making Southeast the Taiwan of Africa. Look at what is happening in Onitsha, where the Labour Party candidate comes from, or in Aba, So what we need is somebody that will provide that enabling environment.
Yes.
Both Onitsha and Aba. There is nothing we cannot produce in the Southeast, specifically in Onitsha and Aba. So what we need is a candidate that will have the interests of the Southeasterners at heart, to provide to us all the necessary ingredients for us to compete.
All right, thank you so
Aba
much.
And Onitsha can produce goods that can go to other parts of Africa and West Africa in particular.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Chief Agbakahi. Thank you, Senator Adeseye Ogunlewe, APC Chieftain, and of course, Chief George Agbakahi, Southeast Leader, Tinubu Shetima Support Organization.